Deep beneath the surface of the North Sea, in the kind of darkness that swallows the light whole, a man lay helpless, his cord to life severed, his oxygen gone. For 30 minutes he drifted in the abyss, cut off from the world above. By all logic, he should have died, and yet something happened down there, something no one can fully explain. This is the terrifying true story of Chris Lemons, the diver who came back from the dead. It was September 18th, 2012. Chris Lemons was a commercial saturation diver, one of the elite few trained to survive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Working nearly 300 feet below the surface, Chris and his two crewmates, Duncan Alcock and Dave Uasa, were carrying out maintenance on the underwater structure of an oil rig. To exist at these depths, Chris relied on a thick umbilical cord, a literal lifeline that supplied him with warm water to keep his suit from freezing, breathing gas to fill his lungs, and a tether to guide him in the total darkness. But the ocean is unforgiving, and on that day, fate had other plans. Above them, their support vessel, the Bibi Topaz, was fighting against the wind and waves, using a complex dynamic positioning system to stay in place. It was the only thing preventing disaster, but then, without warning, disaster struck. The ship's dynamic positioning system failed. Suddenly, the Bibi Topaz was no longer holding its position. It was drifting, dragging the diving bell with it, and with that movement, Chris's umbilical cord stretched, tightened, and then in an instant, Chris was cut off from everything keeping him alive. His suit temperature plummeted, his main supply of breathing gas was gone. His radio went dead, he was trapped in an icy black void, alone, with just 5 minutes of backup air in his emergency tank. 5 minutes. Above him, his team was watching in horror, trapped inside the diving bell, helpless. The ship was still drifting, the bell still out of position. If they left now, they might be lost too. The only thing they could do was wait. Chris was slipping away. The body can only go minutes without oxygen, but at these depths, he should have been dead already. His brain, starved of oxygen, began shutting down. The world around him faded to black. Above him, the crew battled against time. Engineers on the Bibi Topaz scrambled to reset the dynamic positioning system, frantically troubleshooting the failure. Minutes ticked by as they fought against the ship's drift, manually overriding the system and working to restore stability. Then finally, a breakthrough. The ship's system flickered back to life. The ship's thrusters roared as they fought against the ocean's pull, repositioning the vessel directly over the dive site. Dave Uasa, Chris's dive partner, made the decision. Braving the total darkness, he descended. He knew what he would find: a body, a friend, lost to the deep. Chris was unresponsive, floating limp, his arms lifeless at his sides. Dave reached out and grabbed Chris's suit, feeling the lifeless weight of his friend in his arms. His heart pounded as he pulled Chris towards the diving bell, struggling against the resistance of the water, his mind racing with grim reality. He knew he was too late. Inside the bell, Duncan Alcock wasted no time. He ripped off Chris's helmet and immediately began resuscitation efforts. His hands moved swiftly, pressing against Chris's chest. Chris's body convulsed slightly as air returned to his lungs. Duncan was shocked but didn't stop. He kept working. Amazingly, slowly, color returned to Chris's face. His eyelids fluttered, and then, against all odds, his eyes opened. He had been without air for nearly 30 minutes, but he was alive. Doctors were baffled. Chris's brain should have been irreparably damaged. His body should have been starved of oxygen beyond recovery, but somehow the cold had preserved him, slowed his metabolism, suspended his body in a frozen hypoxic state. He had become something else, something science still struggles to explain. Chris Lemons made a full recovery. Incredibly, he even returned to diving 3 weeks later. But to this day, he and those who rescued him still don't fully understand what happened, how he survived, or why he survived. Some call it science, some call it luck, others call it something else.